Okay, looks like we are ready. Welcome to Ken Sanchez Commission Chambers. I call this September 27th, 2022 hybrid meeting, administrative meeting of the Bernalillo County Commissioners to order. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Piscotti.
And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And on to item number 3, announcement. Madam County Manager, are there any changes or addition to the agenda this evening?
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Yes, we have a few additions and changes. So the first one is item 3A, under Human Resources, the collective bargaining agreement with the Albuquerque area firefighters, Local 244, Bernalillo County Chapter, to be on the agenda as item 10F, as in Frank. Item 4A under Finance, National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, to be deferred. Item 7C, Fleet and Facilities, 2400 Broadway fuel tanks replacement, to be deferred. Item 7D, under Housing, Bernalillo County Housing Department utility fair market rent, to be removed from consent and added to adoption of resolution as item 9D, as in dog, for motion corrections. Item 8A, Pedestrian Safety Ordinance, to be deferred. Item 10D, under Human Resources, Collective Bargaining Agreement between Bernalillo County Court Deputies Association, to be deferred. And a vote is required for all the changes that I mentioned. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, County Manager. I so move to accept all the changes.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Piscotti. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. It do pass. And we will, thank you so much. We'll move to items 4, which there's no items, and to 5, public comment. Julianne, do we have anyone signed up for public comment today?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 10 signed up this evening.
Awesome, thank you. Great. We to folks that will be giving public comment, you will have 2 minutes to share your comments. You will be then notified when your time is up. For those participating via Zoom, you will be muted and moved to the waiting room. Should any of the commissioners have follow-up questions to your comments, you will have an opportunity to answer. Julianne, please call the folks up to speak.
Okay, so we will start with the in-person speakers. We'll start with Don Schrader, followed by John Veltri, followed by Joshua James Lawrence.
If we want kids to be honest, are we adults always honest with them? Do we welcome kids' questions? Do they know they can ask us about anything? Death, religion, sex, painful family secrets? Do we apologize and ask forgiveness when we wrong them and others? If we want kids to be affectionate, do we warmly hug women and men who want our hugs? We all need hugs from birth to death. Some kids not hugged never heal from their starvation for physical affection. If we want kids to reject all harmful drugs their friends offer them, do we reject all booze, cigarettes, and junk food our friends offer us? If we want kids to treat all people with respect, do we refuse to tell or laugh at jokes putting down women, gays, trans persons, and people of any color? Do we adults dance and celebrate with no booze? Do we forgive and hold no grudges? Are we two-faced? When adults teach kids to always obey authority, sadly, many of them become soldiers, murdering on command in Auschwitz, Vietnam, Palestine, Iraq, Ukraine, Afghanistan. Teach kids by our own lives to question deeply everything, to choose life-giving jobs for much less money, to enjoy living simply and fairly in our world family of almost 8 billion sisters and brothers.
Thank you.
John Veltri, followed by Joshua Lawrence, followed by Tracy Hatzler.
Thank you, Julie, for passing those out. Good evening. Rule number 1, again, to solve a problem, you must first understand the process. John Veltri, Sandoval County, and I would like my comments to be placed on the record. I am the lead for the Election Integrity Patriot Team specific to Sandoval County, and I appreciate the opportunity for my second meeting to share a little bit more of the work that's been going on in Sandoval County between their constituents as well as the commissioners. Tonight, I provided each of you a copy of our approved Sandoval County Commissioners Resolution number 622.22.10, which upon its vote was passed 3-2. What is kind of cool about Bernalillo County is that you are a county that's got a home rule. Unlike only one other county, which would be Los Alamos, you can actually create ordinances and you can create law. Whereas in my county, I have to create a resolution. If I do an ordinance, I have to work with the legislative branch up in Santa Fe. You operate as a division of the state of the Constitution, which is really cool. So what I've given you, actually, you don't even need to do. You could actually turn it into ordinances. In 2 weeks when I come back, I'll show you how that can be done. But what I'd like to just briefly say is with regards to the ordinance I'm sharing with you tonight, the things that we're trying to do to make election integrity improve in the future for future generations is very simple. Photo ID requirements, efficient removal of inactive voters prohibited, use of unsupervised drop boxes, absentee ballot, chain of command, voter ID, pre-election audits, at least 10% in all precincts prior to the campus certification. My hope is that you'll take a look at this, you'll consider it, and possibly put some of it into action. I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks, and thank you again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joshua James Lawrence, Tracy Hartzler, Geraldo Sinello.
Hello. This comes from a gentleman that lives in Padito Mesa who has some health issues and is unable to be here, so I told him I'd play a message for him.
I'm exposing all of the public corruption of New Mexico involving the judiciary all the way to the Supreme Court and all the public officials that are on cocaine and pedophiles. This involves Bernalillo County commissioners, all of which are working with the Sinaloa cartel on the Santa project on the West Mesa, which is orchestrated by a shell corporation out of Arizona. and the people need to know millions of dollars have been spent running water up the hill for this project. It is laundering Sinaloa cartel drug money. So as you vote for these people and give them contributions on their campaigns, you are accelerating the very people that are killing your kids with fentanyl and raping your young children. These people are absolutely corrupt. And what's interesting is the West Mesa area that they are using, the Santolina and the Pajarito, were exactly where the film Breaking Bad was filmed, and allegedly one of the county commissioners, as a celebrity, is the person overseeing this whole area. They intend to drive everyone off the Pajarito. I understand they're going to make a new airport up there, and they want the land to incorporate into Albuquerque for a heavier tax base that they can embezzle lots of money. This is a long-term project for Bernalillo County. I have
Your time is
exposed
up.
it.
If you could,
Only a couple more seconds.
okay, but then we'll be. Okay, if you want to return in a second time next week to finish it, that would be fine, in 2 weeks.
God forbid, 10 more seconds.
Thank you. Julianne, the next public comment.
Tracy Hartzler, Gerardo Sanello, followed by David Derringer.
Good evening, members of the commission, chair, and members of the staff. My name is Tracy Hartzler. I'm president of Central New Mexico Community College. I want to thank you for your service on behalf of all of us here in Bernalillo County. I wanted to note tonight and ask you for your support and your consideration of Bond 3, which is a question on the statewide general bond election that's coming up in November. What's so important for Bond 3 is that it will not raise one's tax rates, but it will absolutely bring almost $100 million to Bernalillo County in the form of 4 projects that serve UNM Health Sciences Center, but also CNM in our trades facility. When you consider this question, there's $15 million for CNM's trades facility on main campus in Bernalillo County. It will, again, create hundreds of construction jobs. We are incredibly excited that our new trades facility will replace 3 of our oldest buildings, will again serve an incredible community need, provide a new home for our carpentry, our welding, our mechatronics, automotive programs. Most importantly, I want to say this project has been the result of a great deal of community input from both Rio Rancho Public Schools, Albuquerque Public Schools, members of your agency, members of state agencies, a number of our employers and our unions who have all told us and helped advise us on how to construct a great facility to, again, serve our local workforce needs. So I wanted to thank you for just this time and the ability to say again, thank you for your public service, and also hope that you consider Bond 3 when it comes up in November. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and I'm very excited for this. And my father was a welder that got his welding degree from TVI,
Yep.
but glad that you're prioritizing the trades. We need them so bad. Thank you.
As always, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. In my country, in the Philippines, we like to say magandang gabi. That means good evening. So thank you again, County Commissioners, for serving our community. My name is Gerardo Sanello. I'm a Nation American or Pacific Islander. As you already know, I'm an American Filipino. I'm also an alternative health doctor and minister. I'm a first generation and concerned for the next generation of our children and grandchildren, and have family members reside in Albuquerque. Therefore, I'd like to mention election integrity and fairness, which we have no confidence in the voting process. I do not consent to the use of illegal voting systems. Can you please check out the County Clerk's Handbook, Section 5.4.2, Precincts and the Duties of Board of County Commissioners. That's on page 35 to 36. As a poll watcher or poll challenger in the last couple of years, I noticed election irregularities or fraud at the county warehouse headquarters, allowed to go in one cage, but not in another cage, where computers, SIM cards, algorithms, and cybersecurity issues and are located, etc. So I'd like to request this to be in the next agenda item in the future regarding election integrity and fairness. According to cybersecurity expert for armed forces, Captain Seth Keshel, election system or voting machines need forensic audit. Lastly, I waited 9 years to come to America as a legal immigrant, while the illegals come to America in 9 hours. Can you honestly say within your heart and soul, was that really fair? Where's the fairness in that? Again, as a legal immigrant citizen, I do not consent to the use of illegal voting system. Thank you for being public servants to our community as we the people of New Mexico.
Thank you.
David Derringer, followed by Jennifer Culver, followed by Val Dater. Okay, then we'll move on to Under Sheriff Brian Lindley.
I think somebody's coming up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Culver. I'm a resident of Bernalillo County. Tonight I want to share my concern regarding a specific vulnerability of the Dominion ICE tabulators, which are the very tabulators we use in Bernalillo County for early voting and election day voting. The Dominion ICE tabulators are capable of printing votes for the voter. Every one of them contains an ink cartridge and can print. The reason for this is for ADA compliance, allowing visually impaired voters to be able to fill out their ballots. The tabulators can fill out their ballots for them, filling in the ovals. However, the vulnerability should be obvious. The tabulators are capable of filling in the ovals on any ballot. If a voter has not made a selection in one or several races, the tabulator can vote for them. Also, if a particular candidate has too many votes, the tabulator can fill in an overvote on that race, canceling that vote. Both of those things can happen. The brochure for the Dominion ICE tabulators touts a special feature, which is a library of human hand marks and writing, meaning that the machine can make it look like a human mark instead of a perfectly machine-filled oval. Why do we have that? There have been ballots discovered in audit in another county in New Mexico that have both machine and human markings, votes on the same ballot. So this has occurred. I hope this helps you to understand why we, the people, do not trust the tabulators. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Val Dater.
Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair Barboa, Vice Chair Benson, Commissioner Scody, Commissioner O'Malley, Commissioner Quezada. Hi. So last time I was here, I was very frustrated. I get nervous up here. I just got to let you know. I don't enjoy coming here. So I touched on the fact that I was asking for the digital data of the 2020 general election. I got to stress for you that I asked for that in early May. And I got this back and forth stuff, can't be located. So we can help you locate that. We know where those files are. Files don't exist, never have, never will. And Jamie Diaz came straight to my face and told me that these files never existed, never have, never will. This was a federal election. That is when you plug in those tabulator SD cards to the main system in their voter warehouse. That's how all the votes get tabulated. Those files are there. They went through, and Nathan Jaramillo, okay, but you're the top paid employee. You're paid more than the county commissioner. More than the county clerk.
Just the commission, that'd be great.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He's paid more than the county clerk. So I'm starting to think maybe He's the one that's pulling the strings. He thought he would come down here and, make me go away and just tell me that files don't exist and I'm just some crazy lady. He tried to gaslight me, but we know those files exist. I can't go on this incompetence game or playing stupid, because they make way too much money to play stupid, and they can generate those files like that. And there's 30 employees that are full-time sitting there on their computers year round. You can't do it. So why are they in charge of our records? These are our sacred votes, and these are the county records. That's what the clerks do.
Thank you.
You can't do it. They can't do it.
For your time.
So one more in-person speaker, Under Sheriff Brian Lindley, and then followed by Susie Gao on Zoom.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Good evening.
The Executive Command staff from the Sheriff's Department just want to come in this evening and tell you guys how much we appreciate the County Manager and stand in support of the approval of her contract. She's been very good to us. She's been very good to the community. I think she showed the staff of Bernalillo County how much she cares about her people, how trustworthy she is, and how much she does care, and we appreciate her 100%. We just wanted to take a minute of your time. It's kind of heavy tonight, a lot of comments, and maybe a little bit of just support for what you guys do and especially what the County Manager does. So thank you for your time, and we appreciate everything that she's done, and we hope you approve her contract this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and coming out, all of you. Thank you.
Susie Gao via Zoom. Susie, if you can hear us, if you can unmute.
Here we go.
Can I hear her?
Hello, Susie. I can hear you now.
She can't hear us.
Can you hear us? I can hear you for a second. No.
Can I hear?
There you go. Try again.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. All right. So my name is Susie, and thank you for your service. So I gave my comments on August 23rd. So at that time, I spoke my concerns about electronic voting machines. I feel I don't have any confidence in those electronic machines. So today I actually want to speak a little more about those machines. I don't know if you guys know, but all the hardwares and the software used in those machines are either manufactured and created by foreign companies. So there is zero transparency about what the hardware and the software can do in these machines. And the excuse is that those things are proprietary, so based on the proprietary claims. So in fact, that during the past couple of years, many patriots have come out and they have spent lots of time studying those machines, and they found out those machines can switch votes or fill in ballots, like what Janie pointed out, and they can access internet and be controlled through internet by any of the worst hackers. So the things like how many of the people here or in the vote really understand how the voting machine work. In fact, the people who run elections do not understand how the voting machines work in technical terms. The voting machines should be audited and certified by independent parties. However, in reality, the employees from or related to the voting machine companies do the audit. So does that present to you a huge conflict of interest right there? It's really sad at this point that our secret voting rights are now actually secretly controlled by the voting machines. So for the future of our coming children, you can see I'm also the first immigrant to this country. So I came here for the freedom. However, if our voting rights are compromised, the future is very, very dark. So for the future of our children, we really need to get rid of those voting machines.
Thank you, Ms. Gal.
And go back to
Your time is up. But thank you for attending.
And that concludes public comment.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out and voicing and being civically engaged. Thank you for your time this evening. We're going to move on to item number 6, approval of minutes. I move to approve the September 7th, 2022 special administrative meeting minutes. Can I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Benson. I'm to roll. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti, Vice Chair Benson,
Aye.
Chair Barboa.
Aye. You have a unanimous do pass. Thank you. And I move to approve the September 13th, 2022 administrative meeting minutes. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Piscotti. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti, Vice Chair Benson,
Aye.
Chair Barboa.
Yes. Thank you. Moving forward, approval of consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please provide resolution numbers for items 9A and ordinance numbers for 7A, 7C, 7D, and 7E. The consent agenda has been published and made available to the public, therefore, thank you. Please provide the numbers.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Going from what you just requested, item 9A is financial FR 2022-103. Does that track, Julianne, for 9A?
So starting with 7A, the consent
Okay,
agenda.
we'll start with 7A.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, item 7A is FR 2022-101. Item 7E is AR 2022-102. And I believe that the other items were deferred, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
9A. And 9A, you gave a number for 103, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we will, item 7, the consent agenda has been published and made available. I would move to approve the consent agenda. Can I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti, Vice Chair Benson,
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda approved. We'll move on to items number 8, B, economic development. Marcos Gonzalez to present. And
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
the number.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, can you please issue an ordinance number, Madam Clerk?
Absolutely, Madam Chair. That ordinance number will be ordinance 2022-26.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Director Marcos Gonzalez to present.
Madam Chair and members of the Commission, the Economic Development staff recommends authorizing the Bernalillo County Commission to approve an ordinance to amend ordinance number 2021-7 for the American Gypsum LLC by amending and reissuing the Bernalillo County, New Mexico taxable industrial revenue bonds for American Gypsum Company LLC Project Series 2021 to increase the maximum principal amount of the bonds to an amount not to exceed $45 million. I'll stand for any questions.
Madam Chair, I move approval.
Second, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Madam Chair. Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti, Vice Chair Benson,
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye.
Thank
Thank you. You have a do pass. And now we'll move on to item C, operations and maintenance. Keep Bernco beautiful. Antonio Jaramillo to present.
Madam Chair, just for the record, for that last item, we did not have anybody signed up for the public hearing.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, Madam County Manager, thank you. Good evening. We're here to talk about the establishment of the Keep Burn Co. Beautiful Advisory Board. The mission of the Burn Co. Advisory Board is under the supervision of operations and maintenance within Public Works. The Solid Waste Department is requesting the Commission permission to establish the Keep Burn Co. Beautiful Advisory Board. The mission of this is to encourage accountability through outreach and education efforts to promote the preservation of environmental quality that ultimately supports a prosperous, clean, and healthy community. The advisory board will consist of 5 members, one appointed by each commissioner. The board will also make recommendations that focus in areas of community improvement, education, litter, prevention, beautification, waste reduction, and recycle projects. The board will also establish committees and subcommittees to carry out the mission of the ordinance and will promote public participation and input. They'll also provide recommendations to policies and carry out programs and projects to implement the purposes of objectives and goals of the Keep Burn Co. Beautiful. Also be responsible to submit an annual report to the Commission. We will be able to accept donations from public and private sources through the Burn Co. Quality of Life Fund, as well as accept grant funding for the administration and implementation of plans and programs. Officers will be established, and board members will also be supported by staff identified in the ordinance, as well as will be appointed a director, which will be appointed by the county manager within Public Works. And I stand for any questions.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Piscotti?
Yeah, I just want to say this sounds like such a great idea, and I support this. I think Bernalillo County is so beautiful already, and to keep Bernalillo County beautiful is even better in a sustainable way, things you're talking about. So, yeah, I totally support this. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Piscotti, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Quesada?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I also support this in a huge way. As you know, probably 3/4 of the calls that we take through my office is always having something to do with either the weeds or litter or tires or people dumping. We have a lot of illegal dumping up here on the West Mesa. And so this would give us a department and a way for the community to access, somebody who would immediately respond. I think it's pretty overwhelming for, a department head who oversees, 2-3 different departments to really address an issue of this scale. I don't think people realize, how hard it is to keep Bernalillo County beautiful. We work really hard. We've implemented a lot of different things. One was to, get rid of the spray that we used on weeds so we wouldn't poison, water supplies and whatnot. But with that comes, a lot more weeds and a lot more challenging situations when it comes to keeping our streets beautiful, our medians beautiful, and our parks. So this is just a great idea to where we have sort of a one-stop shop when we're looking at those sorts of things that we deal with in the community. So with that being said, I 100% support this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Biscotti, thank you. Commissioner Quesada, sorry. Thank you.
Would one of you like to do a motion?
I move for approval.
Second. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti?
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson?
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa?
Aye. Thank you. You have Let's Keep Burn Co. Beautiful. We will move on to items under 9, adoption of resolutions. And we have item 9A, housing, intergovernmental agreement. Ms. Betty Valdez to present.
Good afternoon. My name is Betty Valdez. I'm the Director of the Housing Department. And I'm here, Madam Chair and members of the Commission, to ask for approval on an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Albuquerque. And this is one for the intergovernmental agreement approval and also for an increase in our budget in the amount of $232,951. And this is for 28 vouchers that mimic our Community Connections program. We will be taking these in and administering these for the City of Albuquerque. And I stand for any questions.
Yes, County Manager?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I just wanted to just say that it's a reflection of your leadership, too. And you're very competent in what you do, and the fact that, you know, you're working with the city is great, and that's what we want to do. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate your good work, Betty, and your staff. And just getting those housing vouchers out means a lot to the community and for the people that really need the help. So thank you so much.
Madam Chair, County Manager, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner
O'Malley. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Betty, so I know that the voucher, this is what you call, are these the Section 8 vouchers?
No, they are not. It is money, funding from the city is giving us. They were administering the program, the nonprofit, and it was having some trouble. So they have asked our department to administer for them.
Okay, so you will administer them in the incorporated area?
It'll be in all of Bernalillo County.
Okay, so the entire area. I shouldn't say unincorporated, we're an incorporated area. What are we looking at now in terms of vouchers? I mean, rents have gone up. I think we've had challenges, right, with people getting vouchers but not being able to use them. So what are we looking at now in terms of rents and vouchers?
Madam Chair, Commissioner O'Malley, so that was one of what is coming is an increase in fair market rents. HUD has increased our fair market rents, but it is still a challenge to meet the market rents. We're still leased up, fully leased up in our voucher program. We still do not have vouchers that are not leasing up, but it is a challenge.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Just because I always appreciate the education part, Ms. Betty Valdez, Director Valdez, we had talked about that the sort of overall, I asked you how much did they go up, and you had shared with me. Could you share just for all of our knowledge, right, how much they've gone up and how much, but at the reality of what our rents have gone up?
So this, Chair Barboa, Commissioners, this is an item that is coming up. So it's not there yet, but just to give you some knowledge of what we're experiencing, HUD did a market study, and we're not sure where they got their information from, but the rents went up about 3%, or the increase in our subsidy went up about 3%. We all know that that is not meeting market need, but it went up 3%. I increased it. That was 100% of fair market rent. I'm going to ask Commission to increase it to 110% because that is what HUD allows me to do, to give me some flexibility. So that means rents were at 800% or the subsidy. That allows me to pay $900 of their rental subsidy. Is that going to meet what is really happening in the marketplace for rents? No, but it still helps, and it still helps our subsidy needs and what our program participants are going to need and help as far as their subsidy requirements. It doesn't change the income requirements. It just allows me to help the subsidy and what the market is bearing out there. So we am going to ask for 110%. That's not presented yet, but I did push it up to the maximum allowable request that HUD allows.
Yes, Commissioner, Vice Chair Quesada. Thank you, Director Valdez.
Quesada or Benson?
Sorry, Vice Chair Benson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's a compliment, man. Yeah. Director Valdez, thank you so much. Just for a little clarification on the math, the budget increase is, let's round up to 233,000. Yeah, you said it's for 28 additional vouchers?
Chair Barboa, Commissioner, Vice Chair
Quesada.
Benson. Yes.
And that, so that comes out to about just under $700 per recipient, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's not much for market price, but thank you. And I am actually very pleased to see the city of Albuquerque working with us. It's nice to see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I just wanted to ditto that and also praise your leadership and work. Obviously, we're doing something right at the county if we're the trusted source to bring this. And I know it'll mean more work for you and your department, but I'm glad those will be getting out reliably. Thank you, Director Valdez. I move that we adopt items 9A. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti?
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson?
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa?
Aye. You have a due pass. Thank you, Director
Thank you.
Valdez. Item 9B, Office of Criminal Justice and Behavioral Health Initiative. We have Director Pam Acosta to present, along with Manny Crispin.
Good evening. Thank you for having us, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Benson, and members of the Bernalillo County Commission. My name is Manny Crispin, and I'm the chair of the BHI Community Support Subcommittee on behalf of the BHI, and I would like to present the proposal for small behavioral health providers. Joining me this evening, I'm lucky to be here with BHI Senior Manager Pam Acosta. We wanted to let you know that the BHI Community Support Subcommittee and the Steering Committee recommends that the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Governing Board, also known as the ABCGC, take steps to expand the funding for small provider capital or startup funding to expand the behavioral health continuum by providing and approving this proposal for the allocation of $1 million over a 3-year term to fund smaller behavioral health agencies throughout Bernalillo County to help them to further develop the behavioral health continuum with capital and or startup services through a one-time dollars that will not reoccur. The intention is to build capacity and sustainability for more behavioral health agencies, thereby diversifying all the services throughout the county that are available for all those in the community. These dollars will come with additional technical assistance from the county staff to ensure that these agencies have the support needed to provide effective services for community members, families, and individuals with their behavioral health needs. This proposal provides an opportunity for small behavioral health agencies in Bernalillo County with an annual operating budget of $500,000 or less to apply for funding to expand or develop behavioral health services that otherwise would not be funded. Thank you so much for having us this evening, and I stand here with Madam BHI Senior Manager for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crispin. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. Have we done this before with behavioral health initiative money? It seems like we did this with the CARES money a couple of years ago.
Madam Chair and Commissioner Piscotti, I am unaware if we have done with smaller providers in the past. That may have been before my time. I apologize.
Okay. Oh, here comes Clay with the answer.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. Yes, Commissioner Piscotti, you did. The Department of Behavioral Health Services, about 2 years ago, did a one-time $10 million capital and startup RFP using one-time non-recurring funding. And I think they had about 40 or so awards that came from that procurement.
Okay. Great. So this is $1 million. Do you know how that would be divvied up? Is there a limit on how much a specific agency or provider could get, or what the rules are and how it would be used?
Madam Chair and Commissioner Piscotti, that will be determined through the RFP proposal. We plan on taking that process or the development of the RFP to the steering committee for advice on that. I think it will depend also on how many people apply or bid for the RFP.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, I was just curious. I think that this is a great idea because I think that those small agencies and providers are really the backbone of our behavioral health system here in Bernalillo County. There's so many of those small agencies that, yeah, giving them just a kind of a leg up to expand, I think is a great idea. So I love it that the money is going like right to those providers who are doing the work out there day in and day out. So thank you. Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Benson.
Okay, I want to piggyback off of what, thank you, Madam Chair, what Commissioner Piscotti said, and I see it not just as a positive step towards behavioral health, which our community drastically needs right now, but also as an economic development tool to help the small providers because they are running businesses and they have to keep the lights on and run payroll and then those businesses are directly benefiting the community. So I think it's a great use of our of this fund specifically. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Benson. And just so a bit of a note, and please verify me if I'm incorrect in this, but I was excited. I had brought this to our previous director, Charlie Verplo, and had really noted that so much of our behavioral health dollars are only going to really big entities like UNM and a lot of the folks who hold our behavioral health needs so closely or more intimately, which is, in my opinion, very much needed on the front end to get people in and then hopefully get them to the bigger services. Is that we don't actually provide the opportunity for some of the smaller budget organizations to even have a skin in the game in these RFP processes. So I'm super thankful that we're able to do this. There's been several smaller providers that have come and said, we sort of never get to have an opportunity at this funding. So I mean, I think this is great to start, and I would in the future support even a bigger budget specifically for small budget. I think we should have a diverse budget for our behavioral health that maybe have medium-sized budget orgs and small budget orgs, and then of course we always have the large budget entities. But so I just wanted to add that note, and thank you for bringing this forward. Any other questions or comments from Commissioner? Yes, Commissioner Quesada.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think we need to continue always speaking up about what happened to the behavioral health system, and those are the precise providers that went under during the last administration in the governor's office, and that those are the ones that were actually doing the grassroots work, the kind of work that it's really hard to connect to a community, especially like mine. We don't just open our arms right away. It takes a while to develop, relationships and being able for us to trust you to deal with our behavioral health needs and as a community. And when that was destroyed, again, we've spent the last, 6 years playing patch up and catch up. And so I'd like to thank you for bringing this forward. And I also agree that, when you start looking at more funding to start making sure that we do fill those gaps with those providers to make sure that we're blanketing the community as a whole. Because you're right, not every big a provider is doing the work that we need within the community. It's about community-based behavioral health systems that need to be put back in place that were once there and that are gone now based on the decisions of the last administration. So thank you for that work. And I just wanted to make sure that we always make sure that the community knows that we are starting from ground zero again and working our way back up, which is going to be a long process. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Okay, I need to issue a number before I move to approve. So Madam Clerk, could you please issue a number for for this item 9B?
Yes, Madam Chair, for item 9B, 2, we have FR 2022-104.
Thank you. I second. We are voting to approve items 9B, 1 and 2. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti? Vice Chair Benson?
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa?
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Commissioners.
Thank you. Thanks for your leadership.
Thank
Get
you.
this through. We'll move to items 9C. Antonio Jaramillo to present Solid Waste Program East Mountain.
It's me again. Madam Chair, members of the commission, Madam County Manager. We're here for approval of an increase in our fees collected at the East Mountain Transfer Station. Today I have with me Mr. Gabriel Viescas, who is our solid waste manager, right there. And also with us is Mr. Paul Wiggins, who's the East Mountain Transfer Station foreman. What we did in this is we wanted to make sure that we were being good stewards of the money that we do receive, but also make sure that we are keeping up with the times that on collection of certain fees. So what we're asking in this in this item is to rescind AR 2018-43 and reestablish the solid waste fees that are collected at the East Mountain Transfer Station. We're going to keep the majority of them at the 2018 level. However, there are 4 specific ones that we have identified that we needed to increase or include. One being the fireplace ash disposal. We originally did not collect fees associated with that. So we're going to increase that from a no cost to a $1 per bag fee. We're also going to increase the tire and rim disposal from a $1 fee to a $3 per unit fee. Increase the mattress disposal for from $2 per mattress to $5 per mattress. And then also increase the price of the bulky items, appliances such as refrigerators, disposal from a $3 fee to a $5 fee. Again, this was based off of research that we did from the city as well as other surrounding states. We looked at what they were charging, and then we adjusted it accordingly. But we also wanted to make sure that it wasn't too big of an increase so that it would be a drastic change for the residents of the East Mountains. So I stand for any questions.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Piscotti.
Yes. So of course, the East Mountain Transfer Station is in my district, and Antonio, when I got your email about this, I was just like, no, don't increase the fees. But when I looked at it, I saw that it was very reasonable, and the fee for just household garbage, that's staying the same, which I think is what people use the transfer station for the most. So as much as like it pains me to see any fee go up, I think it's very reasonable going from like $0 to $1, things like that. So I also want to give a shout out to the management over there because I get so many compliments about you guys. And I remember when somebody contacted my office just to give you guys a shout out for returning a wallet that had been lost at the transfer station. So was that one of you who found it?
Oh.
That was you?
Yes. We had found the wallet, and we had made sure that they had got it, returned to the correct person. Yeah. It was an elderly gentleman that was kind of, I think he was kind of like, had a little bit of dementia or something going on.
Yeah.
So we made sure he received it back.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
And I know that, you guys go above and beyond to serve my community, so I appreciate that. So as much as it pains me to have any fee increase, I know that this is reasonable and necessary at this time, so I support it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Vice Chair Benson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand the costs have gone up for everything, so it's understandable. My only concern, I'm sure you've looked at this, is what impact this would have on illegal dumping, right? If somebody has to pay to dump, I know there's a threshold, right, where it costs too much, and it seems like these costs are within that threshold, hopefully. But I know in my district and several others, we've had a big problem with illegal dumping, which you've actually helped us very much with. Thank you. But what's your take on that with increasing these costs?
Madam Chair, Vice Chair Benson, I almost said Quesada again.
Compliments keep coming.
Yes, what I would answer that is, we do advertise and we do have these community cleanups that we have on a regular basis. And so we were hoping with that it will deter, and it has deterred the illegal dumping portion of it. Of course, there's, I got a call today in your district that, we did have, so we were looking at that one. We wanted to make sure that these increases were reasonable, as Commissioner Piscotti mentioned, and so far that, with the increase, again, that it does serve the entire community, but it is based off of in Commissioner Piscotti's area, and what we've seen is a slight increase, but not something that we should be alarmed at. But we are looking at establishing a new crew to combat that the illegal dumping. So with that new crew, we would be able to implement that and take care of that a lot quicker. And so. Again, we wanted to make sure that it was reasonable and not something that a person cannot, sustain. So.
Okay, thank you.
I had a bit of a, go ahead. Oh, yes, Commissioner Quesada.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have those same concerns in my district, but I think, just going off of, some of the information we were able to go over, we found that, most of the people who are just going to illegal dump are going to illegal dump whether it was free or not, or if there was a charge to it. But I still have those same concerns. But something that we've been discussing, and I think maybe me and Commissioner Benson can kind of look at if this is something we can do throughout Bernalillo County, is to maybe through our DDF fund some special days where, we'll put some DDF towards, for them to pay for people who've, had that refrigerator in the yard for a while or have those tires for a while and can't really afford it. And the same thing with Commissioner Piscotti's district, and everybody's district for that matter. And I came up with some kind of ideas of where we can give them some kind of code or some kind of, QR code or whatever when they go to our facilities and be able to take advantage of us being able to be, support what we want to bring forward. Sometimes it takes us as government to support our initiatives up front. Just to get people into the groove of it, to make sure that it's successful and that we take responsibility ourselves. So I agree with with how we're moving forward, but maybe there's something we can do together to make it initially not so much of a burden. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quesada, we do have a program for free green waste event, which lasts about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, spans 2 weekends. So we could definitely implement something similar to that, and where we can allow for people to, reasonably dump certain things. Of course, it would need to be subsidized somehow because right now we get subsidized through Ciudad. For the green waste event. So we want to make sure that we're, fiscally constrained on that one, but we want to make sure that we can, recover some of our costs associated with that. But we can definitely work with your office on that.
Thank you for bringing that up. I think I have just similar concerns. I remember being a single mom and I finally got somebody to help me clean up my big backyard that I have. And when I went to dump, I remember feeling like I couldn't afford, and it sounds a little crazy, right? Maybe it was like $55, I think, with the things I had. But after helping pay some of the folks and get some pizzas for people that helped me clean my yard, as a single mom, I didn't, and it really discouraged. I was struggling to pay that. So if there's ways, I definitely would join with Commissioner Quesada to think about that. I also just worry because the city does have a program where you could call and have them pick up large items from your curbside for free. And I guess I don't want unincorporated areas to not have that privilege or accessibility as well. And so if it means some days or other ways, but the county does not currently offer something like that.
Chair Barbo, yes, we do.
Great.
Through our solid waste program, we do have a large bulk item pickup that we call Waste Management. They can schedule a large bulk item pickup for you. Sometimes there is a fee. They do have certain days, like what we were mentioning, that they'll pick it up for free. So we can definitely work with anybody who has any questions on that, get them in contact with the right individual to schedule that.
Great.
So the city does, as you said, has a program, and I think otherwise, if you're off their schedule in some way, there is a charge, as you mentioned. I think it's like $35 for a pickup of like a refrigerator or something like that.
Chair Barbo, Commissioner O'Malley, yes, okay. There is sometimes a charge associated with it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ida, I guess, did somebody want to move?
I'll move for approval.
Madam Chair,
Second.
can I issue a
I'm being a
resolution number on that
terrible
one?
chair today.
No,
Thank you. Okay.
For item 9B2, FR 2022-10, we already did that one.
104.
Item 9C, 2, AR 2022-105, and for item 9C3, FR 2022-106.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Apologies. And yes, so I can second that. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti? Aye. Vice Chair Benson?
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a due pass, and thank you for keeping Bernco beautiful. We have item 9D, housing, and I think it's Betty Valdez to present.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'd like to issue AR 2022-107 for item 9D.
Thank you. Item
Thank you.
9D, it's back under 8.
7D.
Just to remind everyone, that item was moved off consent and now under adoption of resolutions as 9D.
Now we'll get to hear more about the great fair market rent stuff.
Okay, sorry, I thought it was after him.
We're happy to have you here, Director Valdez. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, Commissioners, again, I'm Betty Valdez. I'm the Director for Housing, and I'm here asking for approval for fair market rents. And so we had a little confusion on utility allowances and fair market rents, but those are two separate items. And I will be coming asking for approval of utility allowances, but we just got our market study back, so we're not quite there yet for that approval. So I gave a little explanation that we are increasing fair market rents by about 3% for our program participants. They did go up. And I stand for any more questions on that subject if I didn't give enough explanation last time I was up here.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Vice Chair Quesada.
Thank you.
Benson.
There it is. Man, it's a good night for me.
Today's not my day.
Director Valdez, thank you. Can you tell me, in your analysis, what was the rent increase in the city which spurred this increase in vouchers?
I'm sorry, Chair Barbo and Vice Chair Benson, I'm not sure what the question is. What do you?
So we're voting to increase the vouchers by 3%. Correct?
Okay, I think I understand the
Okay.
question. So Chair Barbara, Vice Chair Benson, HUD publishes the fair market rents annually.
Oh, okay.
And they just came out with their publication. They publish them at 100% of their analysis. I'm allowed to increase that by 10%, which I took the liberty of doing, because it gives our program participants 10% more subsidy towards the rent. And in our current environment, they need that subsidy to meet the market rents. So what you see before you is 110% of HUD's published fair market rents.
Okay, thank you. So how much is that off from what the actual rents are?
So for instance, Chair Barbour, Vice Chair Benson, Commissioners, fair market rents or market rents on a one-bedroom right now are about $1,200. What you see in front of you, our fair market rents are nowhere near that amount. So we are allowed in our housing department to negotiate that, and we do.
Okay. So what is, at 110% of HUD, what would that bring us to on an average?
What you have in front of you, Chair Barbeau and Vice Chair Benson and Commissioners, is 110% of fair market rent.
I think he's.
Of the HUD numbers?
Of the HUD number.
Which are what?
I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me, but I can get that to you. I'm sorry, I thought it was in part of your packet. I apologize.
It's okay. My concern with the vouchers is that they're not able to keep up with landlords. And if a landlord wants to rent to somebody on a voucher, but their voucher isn't keeping up with what the market pays, then it's a disadvantage. So I'm just trying to understand what the gap is between what the HUD analysis says fair market rent is and what real life fair market rent is.
Okay, it's about $400
Okay.
on average.
Okay.
It's about $400 between our fair market rent and what the market rent is doing
Okay, gotcha.
on average.
Okay, so how, and is that $400 after you've gone up to 110%?
Yes,
Okay, so it's still kind of short of the mark.
yes.
Okay. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner O'Malley.
And I think it's important to do this, but this isn't sustainable, unfortunately, because we have no rent controls at all. We have very little permanently affordable housing that has those controls, and those are usually through those LIHTC projects that where developers get a big equity out of the out of that program. So I think that so some way to deal with this sort of gap here, but it's nothing to prevent landlords from raising their rents again. And that's kind of the crisis that we're in right now.
Right, we do not have rent control, so we are negotiating that.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Director Valdez. And yeah, thanks for your leadership and appreciate bringing this. I move for approval. Can I have a
Madam Chair, my apologies for interrupting, but the reason this was pulled off consent was correction to the motion, because this does not impact utility allowances. So the motion revised should be motion to approve the Administrative Resolution AR 2022-107 establishing the Bernalillo County fair market rent for FY 2023. And so we'll need to vote on that amendment and then vote as amended.
I would vote, move for that amendment as Julianne read it.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner O'Malley.
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada.
No, it's not.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson.
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye. Have a do pass on that amendment, and I would move to pass item 90.
As amended.
as amended. Thank you, Commissioner O'Malley, for that second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti?
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson?
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa?
Aye. You have a motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will move on to item 10, County Manager Clay Campbell to present contract renewal.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. Clay Campbell, Chief of Staff to the County Manager. And I'm pleased to be here tonight to respectfully request your approval of a 3-year renewal of the County Manager's employment contract for the period October 2022 to October 2025. Madam Manager's current contract was originally approved in October of 2015 for a 3-year period, and in 2018 it was renewed or extended for 4 years till 2022. Her leadership and tenure over the past 7 years have resulted in many improvements and achievements made by county departments and directors and their staffs relative to projects, initiatives, processes, and procedures in all areas of Bernalillo County. And I have a handout of some of these examples from each division for your review. So I'm going to give these to Julianne to distribute. Now, of course, in local government, there's always more to achieve, and the work will never be done. And that's the nature of servant leadership and continuous improvement that Julie Morgus-Baca and her executive team have been cultivating. She takes great pride in supporting elected officials and their mandates and priorities and doing everything in her power to help. She does this while at the same time creating a positive, responsive, collaborative, employee-friendly, accountable, and transparent environment where the public is well served and employees have meaningful and real opportunities to contribute, advance, innovate, improve, and experience success so that they too can take the baton and coalesce into Bernalillo County's next generation of leadership. Many of the items I handed out to you, that I provided to you, reflect the successes of staff in various departments that has been aided and supported by Julie Morgus-Baca as a county manager, as well as deputy county manager guidance. So I stand for any questions that I can answer regarding this agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you, Clay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner O'Malley.
I do want to move approval, but I do want to add to that. I mean, there is a list of projects of which certainly the manager has been part of and has, in some cases, not intentionally, I think, but spearheaded even. And but I think more importantly is her relationship, I think, with the people that, the employees, and also with the commission, and the fact that she has always been willing to listen, has been very supportive, and I think that has to do with, the way she handles things, her personality, and so I felt, this is my last year. I've worked with her these many years, and I have found her to be, as I said, very available, very trustworthy, honest with me, and I really appreciate that. And also, if I've had any issues, she's there to listen, and I appreciate sometimes that she doesn't always agree with me, because it's important to know that as well. But that her support, and then let me also state her relationship with her staff. She truly cares about the people who work for her, and they work for her. Of course, we know the commission hires the county manager, and she is at will. Just 3 commissioners can say, we want another county manager. That hasn't happened because I believe that, she does have the support of the commission. So wanted to just say that. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Quesada. Thank you, Commissioner O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I want to second this. And, I don't want to repeat a lot of the great things that have already been said, but I've spent 6 years working with the county manager, Julie Morgus-Baca, and I'm going to tell you that she's accomplished some pretty amazing things, and she's allowed me to accomplish through my district many, many amazing things. We're going to cut the ribbon on Friday at the Route 66 Visitor Center on 9 Mile Hill. And when I first came into office, it wasn't something people were willing to take on. It was a true public-private partnership. It was something that the county had never done, not at this scale, and also doing it with the city and with the state. So it was a very complex situation to get this done. But, you know, she supported it, and through the process, very honest about, you know, what we could do, what we couldn't do. She obeys, you know, the rules and regulations, and she takes her job very seriously. I think we should be proud of having such a strong female leader for my daughters to look up to. And I think many of the women out there to look up to, somebody who has worked her way up and has taken the reins. And, you know, the staff, every time I meet with staff, they 100% love who they work for. That matters. As you all know, I was on the APS school board, and to find a superintendent was very, very difficult for us. And we'd failed year after year after year after year. So I know the challenges it is to find a good leader, someone well-rounded to do this type of work, because it's not easy. And yeah, you know, you're not going to make everybody happy all the time, but that's part of the job. And how do you handle that? And how do you move forward? That matters. And if she wants to continue to do the great things, I mean, she got us in our own building. I mean, just that project alone, I couldn't imagine the work it took and how many department heads it took together to organize and to communicate and to work together to make that happen. I told her, why are you killing yourself? Why, you know, I think you and your husband should retire. I think you should enjoy your life. You've earned it so much. Because she's, you know, I consider her a friend now, and I'd like to see her enjoy her life. And, you know, now that she's still, you know, energetic and full of life. And I told her, you need to start going camping and fishing and pick up golf. I mean, you know, enjoy your life. She wants to serve this community. And I told her, if you want to continue to serve this community, who am I to stop you? Who am I to get in your way? So as your friend, I want you to enjoy your life. But as a county commissioner, nothing brings me more pride to say, if you want to keep working for the people of Bernalillo County, they're lucky to have you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Vice Chair Benson.
Thank you. I want to throw in another thing, and actually, Commissioner Quesada, you mentioned it, is the serving the community, and along with Commissioner O'Malley, how she does care for this staff, but she also cares for our citizens. And I haven't told you this, but I just got a phone call from the North Albuquerque Acres Association, and they were telling me just what a pleasure it was working with you and how much you were able to get done in a really complicated situation. There was illegal dumping, there was illegal racing, lives were being endangered, property was being destroyed, and we worked with the Sheriff's Department. We've come up with a really good solution, but County Manager Baca did it, and they called you out by name. And they probably haven't told you that, and I didn't mention it, but I am now. And thank you for caring so much. Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner Piscotti.
Madam Chair. County Manager Julie, I know how much work you do and how much work you've done since I've been a commissioner. And I'm going to use the old phrase, our old slogan, Bernalillo County, it's more than you think. Because I think that people don't realize how many moving parts there are and really serious parts of this county, right? And things that if they're running smoothly, nobody notices, right? It's just a part of our quality of life here. But if anything goes wrong, then it's like, uh-oh. And through a pandemic, through everything, right now I know you're interviewing for MDC chief, all these moving parts. Things are are going smoothly, and I think people are just enjoying our beautiful Bernalillo County. And so I think that's so much to your credit. You and I had a really nice talk on Friday morning. I'm so happy about that. And I know that you're going to be taking care of my district. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, and I will take the time, even though I know we always want to mow, but some things are worth celebrating, and I definitely think that is County Manager Baca is definitely worth celebrating. I don't envy you or the job you have to do it all, but I'm very grateful for your leadership in my time here, Commission. You've been nothing but responsive, willing to take direction, lead, follow, whatever's necessary. Like Commissioner Piscotti is saying, you got us through a pandemic, and we had to switch many roles and to cover what the community needs were. And you did that. And through MDC and all our things, you do it with grace and such dignity and respect for human life and our county residents. So I just want to appreciate you and thank you for serving Bernalillo County. And we have a motion on the floor, and Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti. Aye. Vice Chair Benson.
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye. Yeah, it do pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to offer some words, we'll take it.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. And those of you that know me know that I love my job and I love serving the community. And it takes all of us. And so it's not about me. It's about all of us making a difference together, because I can't do what I do. I simply can't do what I do without you all and without the support of my county commission. I'm really proud of what I do and all our accomplishments, but it's all about us. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support, and I won't let you down. We'll keep working hard and we'll keep doing the right things. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great. Moving to item 10B with Director Marcos Gonzalez to present.
Great. Madam Chairwoman and members of the Commission, the Economic Development staff recommends the approval of the Economic Growth and Prosperity Consultation Services item and authorize the county manager to execute an agreement notifying the awardee of request for proposal RFP 35-22-AS and or any subsequent amendments related to the Economic Growth and Prosperity Consultation Services. And the awardee of this contract is Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance.
Thank you, Director Gonzalez. Any comment or questions? Vice Chair Benson?
Yes, Madam Chair. Director Gonzalez, can you kind of explain what area and Ms. Casey brings to the table here?
Madam Chair and Commissioner Benson, many of the items that they're going to be working on is being able to push the region and give it a national identity for economic development, and being able to work as a strategic plan and being able to push us as a region, and also let Danielle Casey with Area explain a little bit too.
Thank you. Welcome.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair Benson, got that right, members of the Commission. It is a tremendous pleasure to be here tonight and to have the opportunity to respond to this RFP. And speaking of your county manager, I would love to also thank her specifically for the relationship that we've had since I got here in October of 2020, because the county's been very integral in many changes in our organization, and she held our feet to the fire and said, you know, we want to see you do great things and move forward in a positive way. And so I'm just very thankful for that. Just to add a little bit more color to your question, Vice Chair, on what we are bringing, there's a very extensive scope of work involved in this RFP. And we are not looking to, well, what this RFP is going to do is increase our level of service overall to the county, but also in bringing the greater region together. We have changed the organizational structure significantly to allow this to happen. We changed the name, as you all are very familiar with, to reflect regionalism. We are in the process of working with the IRS on applications to convert to a 501c3 structure, which will allow us in the future to do much bigger things for the region in terms of going after grant dollars. And also, while these would be public dollars supporting us, we're also increasing our private sector support as well, and have done that. And it allows us to leverage that in a much bigger way. And a couple of key pieces in the scope of work are ongoing but increased data analysis, tracking, including development parcel inventories, working with your team on GIS inventories and data, creating and maintaining an online resource library and management for economic development data, interacting with local businesses in events and programs in the community, and helping also push out the county's message, not just locally, but on a national scale. So we're going to be doing a lot of brand development. We're soon going to kick off some brand sentiment studies so we understand what we need to say nationally to get the right word out for our community and the market. And then also, and I think this is very important, I was a 16-year local government employee myself back in the day. I'm very big on metrics and reporting and accountability. And so there is also a big piece on quarterly reporting, and then coming and providing updates and presentations that are tied to performance metrics. So hopefully that's enough to answer your question.
No, that's great. And I knew a little about that, but I don't want it to go unsaid. So thank you both. And just watching Director Gonzalez work, he does such a great job of creating an environment for business growth in the county. And I think partnering with Area now, which I think is a great move for the name, and is a good decision to make those outside of New Mexico aware of the environment that's been created here. And some people are, and some companies have moved here specifically because of the environment, but it's kind of a well-kept secret. And I look forward to the work that you all do to create jobs and create economic development. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing the reporting.
Thank you, Vice Chair Benson. I had a quick question. What are some of the benchmarks we could expect in layman's terms?
Madam Chair, quite a few. So every year we look at job growth, but we are also looking at how do we increase our competitive position. So we're tracking other activities in the community and benchmarks. So simple things, we're going to be tracking at layman's terms, tracking over time. Over time, long term, is average household income increasing? Over time, long term, are we landing more companies than losing them? Over time, are we more successful in all those activities? But we will be reporting on things like numbers of new leads generated. How many new companies are we proactively getting in front of and then bringing to the table to look at the market, rather than just responding and waiting for someone to come to us and look at the market because they're already looking. So those are a couple of quick examples for you. Long term in the strategy that we're working on, we want to, in the simplest of terms, increase our job growth rate at a higher level and faster level than we have seen in our past performance, or what's automatically predicted nationally for us if we don't do anything.
Thank you. I'm excited by your enthusiasm. Thank you, Director Gonzalez, for bringing this. Somebody want to?
I'd like to make a motion.
I can second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti?
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson?
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa?
Aye. Thank you. You have a due pass. Moving to item 10C, Finance, American Rescue Plan Award Approvals. Director Denise Benavides to present.
Madam Chair, members of Commission, my name is Denise Benavides. I'm the Principal Financial Analyst for the Finance Division. You have two motions in front of you. One is for the single-site housing. Based on the analysis that has been completed, the Bernalillo County ARPA core team is recommending the approval of ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $2.3 million for the single-site housing project in accordance with expenditure category 2.15, which is long-term housing security affordable housing. This funding will supplement the already allocated behavioral health tax funding. The ARPA funding is approximately 20% of the overall project cost. The funding will enable the county to complete up to a 45-unit multifamily supportive housing site located at 6th and Cole. This site will serve persons who are homeless or precariously housed and have been unsuccessful in maintaining scattered site housing and currently have a lack of alternative supportive housing options. The second motion is the approval of ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $5 million to enable the Bernalillo County to allocate premium pay to qualified county employees who have borne and will bear the greatest health risks due to the service in critical infrastructure sectors in accordance with the expenditure category 4.1 premium pay public sector employees. I stand for questions.
Thank you, Dr. Benavides, or Principal, sorry.
Thank you.
I need to name tag.
That's okay.
Any questions? Yes, Commissioner Benson? No, okay.
Madam Chair, I guess I was wondering a little bit, about, and maybe Ms. Valdez can speak to this, sort of about the flexibility of this particular project. Single-site supportive housing is very intense in terms of operating dollars. And I was just wondering about that, only because we are in dire need of multifamily housing, affordable multifamily housing. And I was just wondering what kind of flexibility was in this particular project. If, for example, that's a way we want to go, or this commission would like to see, or something like that. Thank you.
Chair Barboa, Commissioners. Commissioner O'Malley, I'm not sure what you mean by flexibility in housing. Can I get a little more clarification?
Yes. So, we have talked about the single-site supportive housing project, which is similar to HopeWorks, which is, it's my understanding is that we're looking at something similar. And HopeWorks has a project that is a single-site supportive housing project. I support that. We certainly put money into it. We're putting operating dollars into it. And it is, it does have a lot of operating dollars to it. I'm not saying that this isn't something we should do. I'm not saying that. I'm just wondering if there's some flexibility. We are so behind in terms of like doing multifamily housing, for example, that's affordable. We just talked about how, the rents they keep increasing. So we've been looking at this project for some time now. I think it's been, I don't know how many years we have. So I'm just like, okay, so why? Well, there's a lot of reasons why projects take a long time, but this has taken a long time. So I'm also just thinking that, is there any flexibility to maybe do multifamily housing on that site? You don't have to answer that today. I'm just wondering about that.
So I think you're right. We do need affordable housing units, and I think we look at all our options, and I'd be happy to discuss those with you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So this is for that was the question I had, 6th and Cole. And does this mean, I guess to that question, does that limit us on, can this be like an affordable multi-use, or does that limit us to a certain population?
No, it does not. This is county money. So we have looked at cash flows, and I have run some performance. You're now the chair.
There it is.
Chair Benson.
Chair Barboa and commissioners, we have run some performance there, and the cash flow would come from the vouchers. So I would be happy to sit with you, and we can go over it. And there is some flexibility. We are creating it from the county level and not the federal funding levels. So yeah, let's sit down and let's visit about that.
Awesome. Thank you both. I so move to pass.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti?
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson?
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa?
Aye. You have a motion passed. Thank you. We'll move to item 10E, Human Resources. Bernadette Pettis, 2%.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Human Resources is seeking commission approval of the negotiated changes to the Blue Foreman Local 3908 collective bargaining agreement. Negotiations between Bernalillo County and Local 3908 commenced on May 10 of 2022 and reached tentative agreement on September 1st of 2022. The union ratified the contract unanimously on September 14th of 2022, and the contract expires on June 30 of 2025. I would like to thank the county manager, the Bernalillo County negotiating team, and Local 3908 union negotiating team members for their collaboration in reaching this agreement. Local 3908 Union President Brandon McDonald is in attendance in the event he has anything to add. Otherwise, I stand for any questions.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay. Commissioner O'Malley.
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson.
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye. Thank you. I think the next item's yours as well. Bernadette Pettis to present on collective bargaining with Albuquerque area firefighters.
It is. Thank you so much. Good evening again, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Human Resources is seeking commission approval of the negotiated changes to the Albuquerque area firefighters IAFF Local 244 collective bargaining agreement. Negotiations between Bernalillo County and IAFF Local 244 commenced on March 1st, 2022, and reached tentative agreement in mid-September of 2022. The union ratified the contract with a majority of votes on September 26th, 2022, and the contract expires on June 30 of 2024. I would like to again thank the county manager, the Bernalillo County negotiating team, and the IAFF Local 244 union negotiating team members for their collaboration in reaching this agreement. IAFF Local 244 union president and vice president are in attendance in the event they have anything to add. Otherwise, I stand for any questions.
Madam Chair, I move for approval.
Second.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Piscotti.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment. I know that the negotiations had been going on for a long time, since March 1st. So I was happy to see that a unanimous agreement was met and it met with the approval of the membership. And so I have a big place in my heart for the firefighters in my district in the East Mountains. You do so much work. So, I support this agreement, and I hope that we keep working to get you more of the resources that you need. More money, more people. So thank you. I support this.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Vice Chair Benson.
I want to agree and thank you. And I know you were also negotiating during a very traumatic time, which can't have made it any easier with the crash of the firefighters. You do so much for our community, and that's one of the main things that government does provide is safety, and that's what firefighters provide. So thank you, but you're also just public servants. And recently, and Chief Perez, we were just talking about the fire station just locking up at night in another portion of North Albuquerque Acres, just outside of their traditional job scope, but just being good community members, keeping the place safe, and again, reducing the illegal dumping and racing and all that. So I'm glad there was an agreement, and ultimately, it's never enough. You guys, we owe a lot to you, and thank you for all your support.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner O'Malley.
Oh, I thought you were going to call the roll,
Yes,
sorry.
I was. I just wanted to add, sorry, I just saw your light. I just wanted to add that I think definitely everybody values the fire department, but I also think of you so much as our frontline around the behavioral health work. So many, you all are the first folks and also the trusted folks that come to people's side in their time of crisis. So I just want to recognize that and thank you for your service. I'm glad we came to an agreement and I definitely support. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson.
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye. Thank you. You have a due pass.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bettis. Great. So we are on our last announcement of the commission meeting. Tuesday, October 11th, 2022 will be our next zoning meeting at 3 p.m. here in Ken Sanchez Chambers. And Tuesday, October 11th, 2022 will be our next administrative meeting at 5 p.m. here also in Ken Sanchez Commission Chambers. If there's no other business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, and thank you for coming out.
Yeah, you used the last.
Trying to do it more.